is Valerie Asiimwe Amani, and I am an artist and writer. And as an artist who works with various mediums, I really find it useful to ground myself in storytelling, and I'm really interested in mythology. So today we're going to be talking about flowers, and we're going to be creating some flower-inspired collages, and mostly focusing on the protea, which here are these beautiful flowers, which are indigenous to South Africa. And the materials you'll be needing are old pieces, old magazines, old pieces of paper. I've already kind of cut out some stuff from this magazine. You need some glue. You need Posca pen. It is advised but not necessary. And extra is a pair of scissors. And I just found these kind of scraps of fabrics lying around in my closet, and a ruler. And we're going to be using a white piece of plain A3 paper, which will form the basis of our canvas. So why I chose the protea? While I'm talking, I'm going to be looking through the magazine. And basically, when I was thinking about flowers, I like the protea because, first of all, it's indigenous to South Africa. And one of the reasons that I chose the protea is because I consider South Africa my second home. And proteas are a symbol of strength and courage because they actually grow from fire, from bushfires. And the protea is also the national flower of South Africa. And in terms of mythology, protea, the name, is from the Greek god Proteus, who is kind of known for shape-shifting. He was the god of water and rivers and lakes. And so they're really resilient. They grow on rocks. They grow in really intense climates. And so I thought it would be a nice symbol to speak about today. So I cheated, and I kind of already chose the papers that I want to work with. And what I think about when I'm approaching any artwork is simplicity is key. So I will either choose 3 as my kind of magic number. I'll either choose 3 colors, 3 elements, and in that way I kind of am able to sort out all my thoughts into a way that it makes sense. So if we look at our example here, I kind of like this idea of this burnt soil that the protea is growing from. So I have this basis of the soil that I used as the water, and then I have this fresh sprout coming out, and then finally the shape of the protea flower on top. And we're going to be layering all these pieces of paper to create kind of this 3D effect. And if you look at the protea flower, it's kind of really weird and special. And you have like a flaming protea, and you have king proteas and prince proteas. I don't know where the princess and queen proteas are, but that's that on that. So what I really liked about this picture was the texture. And we're going to be ripping things with our hands. We're going to be using our hands, and you just kind of like take your time. But because I'm following the shape of this picture, it's quite easy for me to just get the shape. And my protea is going to be growing from the rock, because I just think that's interesting that a flower can grow from a rock. And I wasn't very interested by flowers growing up, but my mother loves flowers. And now that I've been away from her for a while, I've kind of started growing my own plants, and it just makes me feel like I'm close to home in a way. And she loves orchids, which I've never been able to keep an orchid alive, but at least now my plants are doing well. They're doing well. Okay. So here we have this kind of rough, rocky texture. And I think what is good to note is that it doesn't have to be perfect. And I think the more texture it has, the more interesting it will be. So this is kind of my basis. I think this looks more like a rock than this way. So I'm gonna get my glue, and commitment is the name of the game. And remember, you can take your time obviously, and go through sheets of paper and find things that look interesting to you. The colors that I am drawn to right now are going to be blue, because I found some really nice different blues in this tissue blue. So that's going to be the base of my flower today. So it's going to be a blue protea, and have my glue done, and then I just, which way did I say? This way. And so that's kind of the base where the roots are going to be coming from. And then I also like to mix, if we have something more jaggedy, I like to introduce something more structured. So now for the next element, I'm going to use this color because I think that kind of complements this, and I'm just going to do exactly like this and create this kind of vase effect, I guess. And actually, I kind of like that. Composition-wise, you know, simple, find out, like think about what you want your focus to be. In this case, I want the focus to be my flower, so I've kind of purposely chosen a bit of muted colors. And I think when I'm creating anything, whether it's a video work, whether it's a textile work, I think I need to find my base in terms of what is the main object? What do I want people to focus on when they look at this image? Okay, the glue is gluing. So this is what we have. This is the simple part. Now the next part, really take your time to layer. I'm going to use my Posca pen right now to kind of form what shape I want my protea to be. As we can see, they can either be kind of closed, or it can be more like sprouty, like the flaming protea. And I think I'm going to be sprouty. Beforehand, you can always practice your mark making. If I turn this paper around, I can show you that you can just kind of like flow like this. And that can be the basis of your protea, just so you know what shape you want to follow, or it can be more closed. And this is just one swift movement. So those are the two kind of shapes. And I think because this is going this way down here, for balance, I'm going to make my protea open a little bit. And so all I'm going to do is now cut some piece of paper with my hands and layer on top. So one of the easiest ways I found doing this is if you have kind of a piece about this size. If you want to create an oval hollow shape in the middle, you just kind of follow with your hands, and this is a piece. And I think, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Again, you just kind of like lay that down, and all you have to do is keep on layering and cutting and layering. And the pieces that come on top, you will only be sticking the bottom part of the paper, and I'll show you what I mean just now. So this can be my first piece. And because you want to create different textures, you can find different papers with different textures if you have some lying around. And basically, I'm just going to take a few minutes just to cut some pieces out. And again, just roughly, they don't have to be perfect. Cut some here. I like this texture here. And again, I'm just going to cut that out around and then follow the shape of the paper. And I think what's nice about, you know, cutting paper using your hands is it has this kind of furry edge, which again adds quite a nice texture to the piece. So yeah, I'm just going to go in and start sticking this down. So with some of the pieces, I only stick down you only put some glue at the bottom, just so the top is able to remain kind of free, and it creates the 3D effect. So we're going to keep sticking, just keep sticking. fun fact, the Proteas are South Africa's national cricket team, and that's the only thing I know about cricket, so there you go. And I call this Imagine Flora because I think it's nice, like I'm interested in collective imagination and what things, what parts of nature have symbolistic meaning to us and why, communal imagination, what brings us together. For example, the ash tree, I was in Ireland for a while, and the ash tree has ancestral symbolism, and people believe that, we need to take care, Irish people used to believe that we need to take care of the ash trees, and rivers have names. And I think these are all ways for us to be conscious of nature and to respect nature. And flowers are kind of like the jewelry, the decoration of the land. So they're such beautiful things to have. So as you can see, we're just layering and it's kind of coming together. You have to have a little bit of faith. And I like the fact that it doesn't have to be perfect, and you can just, create. And of course, I don't think blue proteas exist in nature. So this is my imagined flaming blue protea. Actually, I'll call it a Tanzanite protea because I'm Tanzanian, and Tanzanite is only found in Tanzania, and it's a beautiful blue stone. So we'll call it the flaming Tanzanite protea. And we're almost done. And what I like to do at the bottom is create one solid piece. So I'll take this over here and kind of do a larger base at the bottom. And just follow the paper just like that. And only at the bottom. There we go. And basically this is our semi-final work. And you can go in at the end to add more texture, to add something more interesting. You can either use a Posca pen to create some lines, or I'm going to be using some fabric I found, because again we want to get that texture. So I'm just going to lay that somewhere to create more of an abstract feel. And I don't know how it's going to work gluing this, but it's working somehow. Just put that down there. And because it's flaming, I'm going to add some little dots coming out of this protea with my Posca pen. And you can really just be imaginative and do what you like. So this is our really quick flaming blue Tanzanite protea. And if you have more time, you can experiment with different shapes, with different kinds of materials, and you can even make them smaller. I made this small orchid, and this was inspired by my mom and her orchid garden. And really, it's about taking your time and experimenting with textures, with paper, and you always have stuff lying around in your house. And they could make nice birthday cards, Christmas cards. So yes, this is Imagine Flora with Valerie Amani, and I hope that you enjoyed the workshop.